So here's a question. Which movie is this shot from? A, Pearl Harbor, or B, Transformers? If you answered A, congratulations. If you answered B, congratulations, because it's in both, albeit with some CGI enhancements in the latter. Here's another shot, this time from Michael Bay's The Island, and here's that exact same shot in Transformers: Dark of the Moon. And then you've got this shot from Pain and Gain in Six Underground. So what's up with that? And this isn't just a Michael Bay thing. Take these shots from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. They're actually shots pulled straight from 1956's War and Peace.
We're in the middle of a war, dude!
Now, the reason why this style of environmentally friendly filmmaking exists is pretty obvious.
Yes, it's a good way to save money.
It's the same reason why Robin Hood reused animations from previous animated Disney films. But sometimes,
it's not about the money.
Yeah, sure.
like the reused Episode 1 footage of the Jedi Council in Episode 2, a lot of the original cast just weren't available to shoot in Australia, which is where much of the production for Episode 2 took place.
That's just the way it works.
So they reused some shots with some CGI enhancements and took the opportunity to change some of the canon lore in the process. Or, like this unused footage from A New Hope that was composited into this scene in Rogue One to help strengthen the connection between the two films. With Back to the Future Part 2, it was less about availability and more to do with actor Crispin Glover, who played Marty's dad, just not wanting to be involved in the sequel because of his disagreements over its message and his salary.
Do you realize what would happen if I handed my reports in your handwriting? I'll get fired. You wouldn't want that to happen, would you? Would you?
Of course not, Biff. No, I wouldn't want that to happen.
In the end, Part 2 had to reuse footage from Part 1 and body double Jeffrey Wiseman to get around Glover's absence.
Then I started getting called to prosthetic fittings at Ken Chase, the original makeup designer. And Ken Chase, award-winning makeup designer in Wild Wild West and a lot of great shows and movies. He is the one who actually told me that I had the role. Ken said, Crispin's out, you're going to be playing George. I was like, what? And I couldn't fathom, how could they make this film without Crispin?
But they did, and that's why you see George McFly pushed to the back or just upside down for most of his scenes in the movie.
What happened to Grandpa?
Oh, he threw his back out again.
How's Granddad's little pumpkin?
How did you do that? How did he do that?
Oh, out on the golf course.
Glover did end up successfully suing Universal in 1990 for using face molds from Part 1 to replicate his likeness without his permission in Part 2, and thanks to Glover, there are now clauses in the Screen Actors Guild's collective bargaining agreements that will make sure this will never be allowed to happen again.
I just wanted people to know that that was not me in the film. Even to this day, people still think I'm in that movie. Mm-hmm. It still really is, it's endlessly aggravating.
It's controlling ship.
Then you've got some really curious ones, like this TV spot for Life using unused footage from Spider-Man 3.
We'll hit the atmosphere in 39 minutes.
Now, they're both Sony Pictures films, so I guess they had the footage lying around. I just would have loved to have been a fly on the wall when someone put their hand up with this idea. And if you've seen Life, you'd understand why they couldn't have just used the equivalent shots from the actual movie. Then there's this Apollo 13 footage in Austin Powers 2 for the sake of satire. And then you've got In the Line of Fire, using footage from Dirty Harry to place a younger Clint Eastwood at the 1963 assassination of JFK.
That's you.
We needed some footage from him to duplicate something in 1963 in Dallas. And it was very difficult for us to find any motion picture film of him in a suit, because prior to that he was primarily in cowboy outfits, which wouldn't be appropriate, obviously. And we ended up using a 1971 clip out of a Dirty Harry picture. And unfortunately, at that point, the fashions were wide ties and wide lapels with long hair and long sideburns, which didn't work in the 1963 footage of John Kennedy. So we had to give him the world's first digital haircut and digital tailoring on his tie to narrow the lapel and to make it look like it was part of that era.
Production also cleverly captured footage of the '92 Bush v. Clinton election campaigns that were running while they were filming, so they could then superimpose the actors in the film into these real-life rallies. So if you went to a rally in '92, you might be in the line of fire.
We were able to put cameras in places you were ordinarily never allowed to put them. Nobody's ever mixed this kind of level of reality and fiction. And we're going to be the first major motion picture to utilize this technology in a reality-based picture as opposed to a science fiction film like Terminator 2.
And then there's Blade Runner. If you saw Ridley Scott's sci-fi thriller during its original theatrical run in '82, then this is the ending you would have seen in cinemas. All of this aerial footage is from Kubrick's The Shining. Well, kind of. Originally, Ridley Scott had the film ending here. But test screen audiences thought it was too vague, so Warner Brothers basically told Scott to change it, and we ended up with this sexy sax segue closing things out instead. And it was just luck that Stanley Kubrick had a spare 17 hours of unused aerial footage from the opening of The Shining. So a favour, some car interiors, and a humdrum voiceover from Harrison Ford later.
4 years, he figured. He was wrong. Tyrell had told me Rachel was special. No termination date.
And you got this ending. Some 25 years later, Ridley Scott was able to release the final cut on Blu-ray in '07, which is widely considered to include Scott's definitive ending of Blade Runner.
But then again, who does?
And guess where it ends? But what about when a movie reuses its own footage? Back in 1986, Ridley Scott's brother Tony Scott and crew were hard at work on a film called Top Gun. Or Sweat, as it was codenamed during production. That's not true. But one of the biggest issues they had with production was how prudent the Navy were with firing missiles. The story goes that allegedly the US Navy only let them shoot 2 missiles from an F-14 for the film. I say allegedly because from what I could find, it looks like there were 3 takes. Now, they did use miniatures for a lot of the film's aerial dogfights, but never for the F-14 missile fires by the looks of it. But either way, the production was basically running on fumes when it came to real missile fire footage. So production did what they had to and reused the same takes for multiple fires. Here's ICE firing a missile at the hour 37 minute mark. Fire! And then 1 minute later,
Here comes the shot.
it's the same exact take. This is the other take, which was also used twice, but flipped.
Show me what you got, kid.
But even still, it's crazy how Top Gun still holds up, even 40 years later. And that's because they were up there for real, in spite of the Navy's initial trepidation and the insane hourly costs. But with production pulling off the impossible, came the weirdest thing. What you're looking at is not a clip from some DVD copy of Top Gun. This is the pilot episode of JAG. See, despite it being pitched as Top Gun meets A Few Good Men, JAG didn't really have the budget to pull that off, at least not without some proper help, and that help came from one of the movies that inspired it. The concept was simple. Why shoot the action when you can just buy it? In the first episode alone, JAG borrowed more than 30 shots straight from Top Gun. I mean, so did MacGyver.
Tell her I love her!
But JAG was by far the biggest culprit when it came to recycling footage. And the thing is, it wasn't just limited to Top Gun. The list of ripped movies was endless and included such Hollywood blockbusters as Air Force One, The Hunt for Red October, and Clear and Present Danger, just to name a few. We've never flown an F-14 and we've had 100 episodes. That's a quote from JAG's creator and producer Donald Bellisario in an interview with Fox News in 2001. But according to Bellisario, not everyone was a fan of the serial salvaging. In fact, Clear and Present Danger director Philip Noyce drew the line when JAG used multiple shots from the 1994 film. In a not-so-Noyce fax sent directly to Bellisario, Noyce claimed that it is one thing to buy stock footage for use in one's own story, but your show has not only used 28 shots taken directly from Clear and Present Danger, but also appropriated the story and visual design of the most well-known sequence in our movie. Now, despite both JAG and Clear and Present Danger being produced by Paramount, the studio did issue an apology. And when JAG asked Paramount to use the ejector seat sequence from Top Gun for the third time, they were turned down. Also, did you know that Power Rangers used a whole bunch of footage from the Japanese superhero franchise called Super Sentai? A ton of the fight scenes are just shots from the Japanese series, re-edited and intercut with its own original footage. Which makes total sense when you think about it, because Power Rangers has always felt a little Japanese with the practical monsters and mechs and whatnot. Very old school Godzilla. And movie productions use shots from other movies in their pre-production all the time for inspiration or style touchstones in pitch decks and mood boards, so much so that websites like Frameset, today's sponsor, exist as massive film frame libraries for just that. I'm using it right now as I try and figure out this movie script I'm writing. And I love how you can search for specific movies and find collections of stills and shots related to just that movie. And you can be super specific with your search queries. Like you can search for Suburban Street and then Suburban Street High Angle, or Suburban Street High Angle Autumn, and Frameset will give you back some really accurate results. It really helps me get in the right mood and vibe when I'm trying to think of scenes and locations for those scenes. So if you're also in that discovery phase and looking for some inspiration, give Frameset a sus for free. And if you like it like I do, you can use my code PAULET to get 10% off their pro plans. And a big thanks to Frameset for sponsoring this video. But as interesting as all this recycled footage is, I honestly find stock footage being used in almost every movie I see nowadays way more interesting. Seriously, stay long enough during the end crawl and you'll see something like this. I guarantee it. And if you don't know what stock footage is, imagine it like pre-made microwavable meals. Need an aerial shot of downtown Philadelphia but don't have the ingredients or the access necessary? Well, just buy this stock shot that was prepared earlier. And it's a practice that's been around for decades at this point. And when you think about it like that, stock footage being so popular, even in big budget productions, makes sense. But Oppenheimer? Now, to be fair, these credits could just be referring to stills or print media like pictures on walls or really any media that's used to dress the set. I highly doubt any video footage in Oppenheimer is stock, but I don't think that's the case for a lot of movies. Like, I think Longlegs used stock video, and I want to know what shots they were, because like, could I also license the same footage through Shutterstock and technically have the exact same shot from Longlegs in one of my videos and it be totally legal? Because that would be kind of crazy. And it's not like I haven't tried. I've been curious about this for years now, but unlike the real viral videos that were repurposed for the opening of Jurassic Park Dominion with a dash of dino VFX, these stock shots are supposed to blend seamlessly among the original stuff around them. But that didn't stop me from trying, and eventually I did find two movies, with one in particular being like a total shock to me. The first movie is Don't Look Up, and yeah, this one was a bit of a layup to find because the film's editor Hank Corwin had openly spoken about the use of stock footage, plus the stock footage in the movie is not that hard to spot. But that was for a reason.
Tell me about it, and then tell me why you're telling me about it.
According to Corwin, himself and director Adam McKay wanted the film to feel authentic and show moments that people could relate to that felt human.
9, 8.
So much so that Corwin even used footage from his own wedding in the end montage. Now, the other movie is The Menu. And I don't know if anyone was guessing this one if the film's cinematographer, Peter Deming, hadn't told us about it. But for a moment, let's act like he hasn't said anything, and let's play Spot the Stock Shot. Okay, these are a series of stills from the first 4 minutes of The Menu. You know what to do. Let's spot the stock shot. You've got 12 seconds. So, if you guess this shot, you are wrong.
What are you just a big dumb stupid idiot hairdo?
The correct answer is the opening shot. And Deming himself isn't sure why they went with this stock shot, but suggested that perhaps test screen audiences weren't big fans of the original opening shot that featured a fish covered in oil. And although Deming has issues with the stock shot from a technical point of view, he concedes that thematically it is a perfect way to start the movie. It's a movie about taste and smoking dulls the senses. It's just crazy that the opening shot of this movie is a stock shot that you could probably license yourself. That is, if you were able to find that exact shot on, the exact stock footage website. So I found it. Yep, this is the shot. And yeah, of course I licensed it. I mean, I had to. This is crazy. And the thing is, this isn't just some unassuming aerial establishing shot in the movie. This is the opening shot. And that's what has me so confused. Like, I thought surely they would have licensed this shot under some exclusive agreement. Like, I shouldn't be able to do this. But anyway. It looks like they did a ton of color adjustments that make it way less obvious that this shot was actually taken inside. They've also scaled up the shot quite a bit too. And is it just me, or have they given the actress a little VFX chin job? But yeah, this is crazy. Like, I genuinely can't get over this. Maybe it's just my editor brain that can't understand that me, could actually do this. Like, I now have a licensed raw copy of the opening shot of The Menu on my computer. And now I can just feature it in this video. No problem. Which I guess leaves me with one final question. Did you know that the opening shot of The Menu was also licensed for the Paul E.T. YouTube video titled Movies in Movies?
Babe.